All right, this is it. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 528 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
It's Jeff K in the West Virginia Surf Report Show.
Somebody mentioned field trips the other day at work. You know, when you're in school and they take the whole class somewhere, they load everybody up like cattle onto a bus and take you somewhere. Yeah, no, to open your eyes, give you some kind of a broadening experience, that kind of thing. And I'm not talking about like senior trips or anything like that. We did do that. Like, they took us somehow, school-sanctioned trip to Kings Island in Cincinnati, and went to a Reds game. And it was an overnight. We stayed at a Holodome. Do you remember those? It's like a Holiday Inn, but it was built with a dome over it. But anyway, that was 2 days of debauchery and insanity. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're younger and you're in grade school usually, and they herd everybody onto a bus and haul you off for a day, and expose you to something that you might not usually be exposed to. You know what I'm saying? So I jotted down the ones I remember. I asked Steve, I said, do you remember us doing any, what did we do for, can you remember any field trips that we took in grade school? No. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. That's been very helpful. Your contribution has been noted. All right, but anyway, I jotted down some. The symphony, they used to take us up to the Charleston Municipal Auditorium, up at, and take us in there and watch a performance of some symphony. I don't know. Does Charleston have a symphony? I guess. The Charleston Symphony Orchestra? I don't know. I remember doing that a couple times. He'd haul us up there and, and they'd perform symphony music. I don't remember anything beyond that. I just remember doing that. Same place I saw REM. I saw at the Municipal Auditorium, the Kinks. I saw some shows there. Bob Dylan, or Bob Dylan, as somebody at Peaches called him, or thought it was pronounced. Jeff, what section does Bob Dylan go? Anyway, so we went to the symphony multiple times. That was like a regular thing. And there was one where we went to see this, nobody will remember this. Some of this stuff might be Cub Scouts, because we went on field trips with the Cub Scouts too. So it's been 50 years or longer. I can't remember jack shit. But I remember doing this stuff, but I just don't know if it was school-related or Scouts-related. I was a Cub Scout and a Webelow. Thank you very much. And then when it got to Boy Scouts, didn't have much interest in that shit. But anyway, so this might have been, all these things might have been, I know the symphony was school-related. But I don't know about this next one. They took us to this little shop in Dunbar in a building I don't think's there anymore. And there was a guy that was set up in there that would polish rocks. He had machinery in there that would polish rocks so that they were like smooth and shiny. And then you could use them like paperweights or whatever. I don't know. He gave us all shiny rocks that he had shined himself. I probably have them in the basement. I guarantee you I do. I don't throw shit away. I don't throw anything away. Everything's down there. I probably still have those shiny rocks. They weren't very big, though. They weren't paperweight. They were kind of small, kind of like the size of a quarter, that width. So anyway, we did that. That didn't take very long. You take the rock, you put it in this machine, you turn it on, you have a cup of coffee, take a dump, and then when you come back, it's all polished. All right, all right. Everybody back on the bus. All right. Let's see. We went to the bread factory. Is that what they call it? The bakery up in Charleston where they make bread. This big industrial bread making outfit. I remember the smell. You would think that would be fantastic. Like, oh, I love the smell of baking bread. I don't know, it was gaggy. I remember it almost making me want to vomit. It was so strong and so pronounced. And then they gave us a little Debbie, like one of those little oatmeal cakes at the end. I don't know if they made them there. I don't know. They gave us each one individually wrapped little Debbie. That was fantastic. A little Debbie oatmeal cake will brighten any day. I mean, I don't think anybody argued with that. So I remember doing that. I don't remember. The only thing I remember about it is the gaggy smell. Let's see. What else do we do? I remember. This is probably Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. But I remember going to a fish hatchery. I don't know where the hell this was, but it was like this big open, looked like a giant well, it wasn't a giant. Looked like a swimming pool. It was all set up with, I don't know, they were raising fish in there. It was kind of weird, but I don't know. It was in West Virginia somewhere. I don't know. Went to a fish hatchery. I think that was probably Scouts related. We went to this house called Sunrise. It was an old, it's a mansion in Charleston. It was a previous, people lived there in the old days, but now it's like a museum. I think it's still open. Sunrise, that's what they called it. It's up on a hill overlooking the city of Charleston. Yeah, no, I don't know. I remember there was this, I don't know if it was there or if it was the Capitol, but there was fleas. I think there were fleas. Is this right? Fleas that were dressed up. They had clothes on. Could that possibly be true? Was it fleas? It feels like it was. It was fleas that somebody had created small little tiny little clothing and put them on, and you had to look at them through a what do you call it, like a magnifying glass. I remember that. I also remember every year they used to have like Christmas. They have Christmas trees from around the world, and they had one that was decorated in spider webs. It had like spiders living in it. I mean, they weren't real, but they looked freaking real, you know. And I remember that, and that's about all I remember. Sunrise, that was a classic. That one in the symphony was a yearly thing. Always went up there, and then we went up to the Capitol one time in Charleston, and we met that was definitely the Scouts, I think. I say definitely, and then I say I think. But I'm pretty sure it was the Scouts. But anyway, we went up to the Capitol, and we met the governor, who was a Republican. His name was Arch Moore, Republican governor back in the 70s. And I remember I came home, and I told my grandfather, I met the governor. I shook his hand. You shook the hand of a Republican? Go back to that bathroom right now and scrub it down, young man. Just wash your hand. Get that filth off of there, touching a Republican. It's like, what the? I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, those are the ones I remember. Did you ever go on any bizarre ones, like that rock polishing guy? You just take a rock and, you just put it in this machine here that I bought. a couple years ago, and it polishes it. Yeah, there you go. Any questions? I don't know. Anyway, you got any you got any stories, or you got any memories of going on field trips like that were unusual? There was a trip that we took when I was a senior, I think, or maybe, I don't know, junior or something in high school. Because I was on the school newspaper, me and Steve and some others went on this trip to Columbus, Ohio. And we were at Ohio State, I think, and they were, it was like some big program, for, people who work on high school newspapers. And they had people giving speeches, and they put us through some kind of like exercise where we had to interview somebody or something. I faked that shit. I'm not interviewing. I'm like, I don't know. We were supposed to just interview some random person on campus and write an article about them. I faked that shit. I don't know. I just said something like Bill Oates or something. Met this young man named Bill Oates. No, I don't know. I don't remember. But I know I faked it. I didn't actually interview anybody. And then they gave out awards and all this stuff. And I remember we went to this place that actually printed our newspaper, the Kennel. That was the name of our school newspaper, the Kennel. And it was this, this place where it was a big press, and there was this machine. I remember it would cut paper. Had this like blade that would come down like a guillotine and just go right through a stack of paper. And you had to like push two buttons to activate it. One with your left hand, one with your right hand, so that your hands couldn't be anywhere near it, when it was coming down. Because that thing would cut that thing. I mean, it probably wouldn't even bleed. It would just be sliced right off. It would be such a, you know what I mean? I remember you had to push the buttons they were separated far apart. And you had to push them with both hands so that it wouldn't. I remember that. I don't really remember much else. But anyway. And then when I was in sixth grade, we went to Washington, D.C. I told that whole story about they sent in a fake Stevie Wonder, try to fool us Hicks, us West Virginia Hick children. Are you serious? You think you're underestimating us? We know what Stevie Wonder looks like. He doesn't know what we look like. That was a pretty good one. But anyway, take a hit off this song, bitch. But anyway, what do you got on that? Tell me about your school field trips, especially the weird ones. Give me a call. Round the clock, 570-290-8151. I'd like to hear all about it. I don't know. Somebody brought something up the other day, and started thinking about that. Steve didn't help me at all. Like, I don't know. I don't remember anything. Oh, there you go. Anyway, let's see. What else I got? Oh, the other day I ordered, a while back, a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago. I got it in my head. I mentioned it before. I have these magazines that I have in my Dropbox folder. I have like every issue. They're scanned. They're PDFs, scans of every issue of various magazines. And I look at them all the time. Tony's like, "Why do you buy shit like that? You're not looking at old magazines." I said, "I beg to differ. And I have them, and I have like some of my favorite magazines of all time. Mad. I have every issue of Mad magazine in PDF form. I could just open it up at random and just look at every page of they're fantastic. I have every National Lampoon. I have every Trouser Press, which is a music magazine from the 70s, 80s, which I used to love. Got every issue of that. I got, what else? Every Playboy. That's a recent pickup. Every issue of Playboy. That's fantastic. And I have every Life magazine. That was a weekly. I have every issue from the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. Those were separate purchases. So it was a weekly. So each one of them, so that's 52 weeks times 10. So it's 520 issues of each in each of those. And it has every page, and it was a thick magazine. That's one of the most fun ones. But I wanted Rolling Stone. I've mentioned that before. That was high on my list of magazines that I wanted, and they're hard to find. You can't get them. It's impossible. They got that shit locked down. Somebody sent me a link to Internet Archive. Supposedly had it, but it didn't. I don't know. I couldn't. It's not something that you can download. I wanted it on my computer. I wanted to be able to just. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I want to own it. You know. So people probably have it. They're afraid because Rolling Stone's probably litigious. They'll come after your ass. But I'm sure there's people out there that have what I'm looking for. They just won't sell it, right? You never see it on eBay. That National Lampoon, I got that. I bought that off somebody on eBay. It was up there very briefly, and I've never seen it again, you know. So that was probably one of those deals where the guy listed it, and then somebody came after him. You know, and he took it down forever. But I got it during that little window. So anyway, Rolling Stone. So back in 2007, Rolling Stone released a box set of DVDs that had every issue from 1967 through 2007. So it was a 40-year anniversary. And it cost over $100. And it was expensive, and it was, it was a big deal. All right. This is in 2007, 20 years ago almost. And you can get these things. You can get these DVDs on eBay. But I was reading about them, and it said they won't work. You can't get modern computers because it's not PDFs. It's something else. You have to, there's something they call a reader that translates the information so that you can actually read, you know what I mean? So the reader is what won't work. It was made for Windows Vista. That's how old it is. So it says it won't work. You can't get it to work. That shit's obsolete, and it sucks. But people sell these things still, and I was like, I don't know. I wish. So I went on AI, and I said, hey, I told the whole story. I told my buddy, AI, the whole story, and he's like, "They'll work. It'll work. It won't work on a Mac, but it'll work on a PC." And I'm like, "Are you sure about that?" Because I read a lot of stuff where it won't. It says it's obsolete. No, it'll work. It starts going into like a 32-bit and blah blah blah. It's still supported by Windows. I said, all right. So there was somebody selling it. I mean, they're like, I don't know, $40, $50 for these things sometimes. Some guy had a like new condition for $15.25. So I bought it. I rolled the dice. I was listening to my AI pal. It'll work, So I got it a few days later, and I said, all right. I went back to AI. I said, all right. Here we go. I said, you're going to have to walk me through this thing because, everywhere I read that says it won't work, and you tell me it will work. So I need your partnership on this deal. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it up. So I started going through the process. Shit wouldn't work, right? The thing wouldn't even open. The reader, I installed the reader on my desktop, and it wouldn't open. You couldn't even get it to open. It wouldn't launch. I put all the files into my Dropbox, which is what he said I should do. So I created a folder, transferred all the information over from the disks into that Dropbox folder. It took a long time. It was a lot of information transferring over. But I couldn't get the reader to launch. It would not launch. And the thing was like, I know the reason why it won't launch. Before we get into that, tell me about give me, what's it say here? So the thing, we were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Thing was asking me all these questions. What does it show if you open this file? And I was going into the depths, like deep into the computer stuff that I wasn't comfortable with. I felt like things was going to catch fire. I was going to do something and mess it all up, and the thing was just going to burst into flames. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't like getting into like the inner workings, like those vital files that make your computer actually work. The thing was having me monkey around with stuff like that. Take another hit. Right. So anyway, so the thing wouldn't work. The thing would not work. I couldn't get it to work, and the thing was like, no, that's great that didn't work. The thing was like putting a positive spin. I was like, that didn't work either. You know, it'd tell me to do something and say, try it now. And I'd say, no, that didn't work. Oh, good. Well, that eliminates that. It's like trying to put a positive spin on it. You know, it's like irritating me. I wanted it to be pissed. I wanted it to be aggravated like me, you know. And the thing is, like, I know exactly now that failed. I know exactly the problem, you know. But one thing before we move on, I need you to tell me one thing. It's like I'm dealing with Columbo or something. Just one more question. Whew, you know. So the thing was irritating me because it was trying to put a positive spin on repeated failures. You know, it's like, what the hell? Is it, you know, you got to get irritated about this crap. Things should be going, damn it. All right. I thought for sure that would, you know, like a human. Anyway, so the thing never worked. I could never get it to work. And I was in there messing around with stuff I didn't feel comfortable with. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Man, you may as well send a chimpanzee in there. I don't know what the hell. So anyway, so that didn't work, and then so I was doing searches independent of my pal AI, and somebody mentioned in some old post somewhere on some questionable bulletin board type thing, like some kind of forum or something. Thing says there is a patch that you can install or download. But it's not on the internet. It's not really, it's hard to find. You have to use the Wayback Machine. What the hell? You have to use the Wayback Machine to even locate it. I'm like, what the hell is that? I mean, I know what the Wayback Machine is, but it's not on the internet, really. It's kind of... So anyway, I found it. The guy provided a link, and it went straight to it. And it's in the Wayback Machine, and which is an archive, the Internet Archive thing, where you can go back and look at websites on specific days in the past. Like you can go back and look at a website, what it looked like in 2008, some specific day in 2008. You know what I mean? It doesn't archive it every single day, but it'll show you like a calendar. And several days throughout the year will be highlighted, and you can click and you can see an archive of what that website looked like on that day, on one of those days, right? So anyway, I went back and it downloaded. I was able to get to it, and I downloaded the patch, and the thing started working. Oh, well, the reader started working, but it was trying to pull information from the disk. Thing says install disk. Or, you know, insert disk. And the thing was like, so I told AI, and my AI pal, and he's like, no. I mean, that's not I said, the thing's working. I said, he goes, we need to like point it towards that Dropbox folder. And so we could I was like, why don't I just use the disks? Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, that would work. I said, I'm not going to be looking at this thing like hours a day. It'll be like once a week. I might I don't know, look at an old issue of Rolling Stone, and I'll just pop the disc in, and it'll open up from the disc. Well, whatever. I mean, okay. I mean, things like getting pissed at me, getting like passive aggressive. If that's what it's your funeral. Like, what? I didn't say that, but that was the attitude. It's like, yeah, I mean, if that's fine, if you're good with it. I mean, I could have fixed it, but if that's, that's fine. That works. Passive aggressive. So the thing's not, it doesn't get all irritated and cynical like a normal human being. But boy, it gets passive aggressive. That's built into its working system. Anyway, the thing works now. And it had nothing, AI didn't help me. The only thing AI did was say, yeah, it'll work. You can get it to work. And I paid $15.25 for it. And it, I just click on there's an icon on my desktop, open it up, and put the disc in. There's 3 discs of various, so like 1967 through 1985 or something like that, ranges. And if you just put in the proper disc, it opens right up. You can look at page by page. It's fantastic. I mean, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I can access them. They work. The thing works. For right now, anyway. So anyway, things like, just one more thing. Before we move on to this next, I got one more question. It's like Columbo. Anyway, so that happened. See what else I got written down. Anything? I got anything else written down here? Oh, all right. So I was talking to my friend Jim Workman, West Virginia. I was asking him about a hot dog, some fresh, updated hot dog recommendations. I had somebody at work asking about, they were going to go to West Virginia for the Mothman Festival. It's like, have you ever gone to that thing? I said, no. And I never will. But anyway, they're going to West Virginia for the Mothman Festival. Saul Mothman. The Mothman Festival. And they're asking me about West Virginia hot dog recommendations. I said, I don't live in West Virginia. Like, I got recommendations, but they might not be up to date. So I asked the resident hot dog expert, Jim Workman, if he could give me some fresh, updated recommendations for places to get solid West Virginia hot dogs. He gave me some, and I've got them in my phone. So I relayed that information to the person going to the Mothman Festival, and I'll also use those recommendations when I go down there in the next few weeks. So anyway, and then we were talking, and I said I make a bastardized version of the West Virginia. I don't put chili on there because the chili sucks, and it's more difficult. You got to heat it up, and it's just you got to utilize the the microwave, and I don't know, it just adds an extra step, and it's not really that good. I mean, you can get it in a can, like hot dog, like chili sauce or whatever. It's usually not very good. So I just make it with I do the mustard onion coleslaw, which is good. It's solid, but it's missing the chili sauce, to make it a real. He said, well, you can get this stuff, and he sent me a link to this stuff called Custard Stand is the brand. So it's available at, like Walmart and Kroger and stuff. When you're home, just grab a couple tubs of it and, stock up on it. And it's really good. And it's made in West Virginia by, West Virginia. It's a West Virginia company. And it's a good, solid product. He said they were on Shark Tank, the people that own this. But anyway, and I don't think they got a deal though, but they were on there. But anyway, I was like, well, that sounds good. I'll do that when I'm home. So, but then I went on, Walmart's website and I did this. No. I went on their website, this Custard Stand, right? And it says, find our product. And you put your zip code in. The thing said, thing said Walmart. The closest you can get it is Walmart in Dixon City, which is like 5-6 miles from me. Like, what? They actually sell this here? West Virginia hot dog sauce, refrigerated, The thing says in stock. I'm like, what the? So anyway, I was like, I'm going to buy that on the weekend for sure. So then on Saturday, I said, I want to go. Tony said, what do you want to do today? We made some plans. I said, also, I want to stop by Walmart and get some of that hot dog chili. She goes, what the? I said, yeah. I told her a little story. And then I went on the Walmart website just to make sure they still had it and make sure I didn't imagine it. And it said out of stock. Currently out of stock. I'm like, what in the hell? So I did a search for, it had, over in the side column, it said other stores that might have it nearby. And one of them was Taylor, which is, not that far from us. Taylor, Pennsylvania. Clicked on it, it's in stock. Said, all right. I said, we got to go to Taylor. She goes, whatever. God, it never ends with you, with your insanity. I said, hey. I'm a very curious man. Always on the hunt. She goes, whatever. So we went to Taylor, and it was, I don't know. It was interesting. Interesting clientele over there. I work with people. I work in Wilkes-Barre. And the Wilkes-Barre Walmart is notorious. You need a bulletproof vest to go in there, really. There's all kinds of crazy shit that goes on in that place. That place runs wide open. There was a guy visiting from out of town one time. He was staying, there's a bunch of hotels over there. He was staying at one of those hotels, and he goes, next day he came to work, and he goes, I was over at that Walmart in Wilkes-Barre, and that was one of the scariest things I've ever encountered. And I'm from Detroit. Thought that was hilarious. And I'm from Detroit. But anyway, it's a notorious Walmart. And a lot of people that live over there go, I don't go to that one. I go to Taylor, So we were in Taylor, and I was like, I told Tony that story. She goes, this is the one that's better, because it was as I say, very dodgy. There was a lot of questionable characters in there, and the store itself was cramped, and I don't know, the aisles were real narrow. It felt like it was an older version. Anyway, I bought it. I got it. They had it, and I haven't tried it yet. But I think I'm going to try it right after we get done here. I think I'm going to fire up some actual West Virginia hot dogs. My phone is chirping. My son's out, and he's going to call me, so I didn't turn it off. But sorry about that. But anyway, so I bought the custard stand West Virginia hot dog chili. So I'll give you an update on that. And I don't know. That's about it. I do have 2 calls, and I have some other things written down, but we're already past 30 minutes, so we'll get straight to the calls. This first one, I think this might be the first time this person has called. If it isn't the first time, I apologize, but it's been a while for sure. This is Erica in Charlotte. Here it is.
Hey, Jeff. It's Erica in Charlotte. I am way behind on my podcast listening, not just with you, with everyone. And I just listened to your most recent episode where you waxed about glistening mayonnaise and just taking things the way they come, Mike's way. And I like that. As you get older, you start to get a little less bothered about things and just kind of coast. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just had to say, your mention of buzz cut Hicklets had me dying, and it just made me delighted to have a huge backlog of episodes to go through because I've missed that. So glad you're still out there doing it. I appreciate what you do, and I'll probably call in again at some point if I feel so inclined. Bye.
Erica, by the way, is a long-time surf reporter from back. She was a regular commenter in the once vibrant West Virginia Surf Report website. And in the there was a lot of comments. Every time I'd post something, there'd be a lot of comments. It was fun. It was a blast. And there was a lot of laughs. The comments section was often funnier than the actual stuff that I wrote. It was fun. It was a great community. She was a big part of it. So she's a tenured surf reporter, and I'm glad she called. The glistening mayonnaise. Oh, I told that story about that. That we're the person at Subway going back and forth with the mayonnaise. I was hungover. It was hot outside. It made me want to vomit. It was horrendous. And the buzz cut Hicklets, whatever. Banging on the wall of my of our booth at the restaurant, running wild in there. That's what they are, little buzz cut Hicklets. I used to say that. I used to call them like they have names like Colt and Jackson, stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to update my my names. But anyway, so yeah, and Mike's Way, yeah. I should start. That's the thing now. I'm going to go and I'm going to. I'm not going to be so picky, When I was at my Jersey Mike's, they said, "Do you want this Mike's Way?" Yeah, I don't know what that means, but so I guess that means just the way Jersey Mike himself prefers it or suggests that you have it. Yeah, I'm just going to roll with it, man. Whatever way it's served, I'm rolling with it, even if it has stuff on it that I generally believe I don't like. And it works out in most instances. I don't want to be picky. I don't think I'm very picky, but I'm somewhat picky. But I think that there's people that are way, way, way more picky than I am, including my brother, I might add, and some other people in my life that I know. But I'm not. I don't think I am. I'm only on the pickometer. On the pickometer, I'm probably hitting at like a 3 out of 10. Some people are, I don't know, in the red zone. They got that shit. I mean, the thing's maxed out, on the pickometer. But anyway, I'm trying to not be. I'm just going to roll with it. I don't like mayonnaise. It's disgusting. But if it comes with mayonnaise, I'm going Mike's Way. Well, in every aspect of life, I'm just going to go Mike's Way. Even if Mike didn't have anything to do with it. That's the way I'm going to go with it now. Just take it as it comes. I'm not going to be picky. Just going to roll with it. Thank you for calling, Erica. I do appreciate it. Thanks for hanging with me all these years. And give me a call back if you're so inclined. This next call is from our old pal Ian in Scotland. And here we go.
Hey, Jeff. It's Ian in Scotland here, currently in Florida. Okay, 3 things for you. One, I was born in 1969, so in the late 70s, things had changed. Double glazing. We got double glazing. We used to have, in the wintertime, you see frost on the inside of the windows in the wintertime. Don't know if you got that. Other thing, we saw the introduction of continental quilts, which you call duvets, which, I don't know, we used to call them continental quilts when they were introduced. And they replaced like having 6 blankets on you in the wintertime. Also, we saw the introduction of foreign foods like Chinese food, Indian food, pizza, which was fairly mind-blowing back then. Item number 2, things in TV. So, car conversations on TV where the drivers swivel their head 90 degrees to talk to the person in the passenger seat and don't cause car crashes. That's crazy. Which leads me on to item number 3, driving in Florida. So that's also crazy. Okay, on the minor roads, the comparison here I've written is like minor roads is like listening to country and western music, but driving on the I-95 is like listening to thrash metal. That is some crazy shit. That interstate is wild. I mean, people just the space between cars and people just jutting in to unfathomably small spaces. It's like crazy. I mean, the car crashes all the time. So I'm not a fan of driving on there. I feel like James Caan in Death Race 2000 on that I-95. It's fucking terrifying. Anyway, I'm dealing with it. I'm getting there. Again, sphincter tighteningly scary, but I'm dealing with it. Okay, that's it for me. Keep up the work. Bye.
Yeah, things that you lived in two different worlds, born in 1969. Yeah, you definitely lived in those two worlds, like I was talking about. You know, you're talking about stuff like double glazing. I don't. It's like windows. I guess the windows where it's two panels. I guess is that what it is, where it's like protected or something. I'm not familiar with the. I hear when I listen to British talk radio, like Clive Bull, they're always talking about double glazing. I guess that's just like something. The windows are just better protected or whatever, so you don't have that build up. It's way more. It keeps the warmth in and the cold out, or vice versa. So, yeah, that's good. I don't know what a continental quilt is. You say it's a duvet. Is that one of those things where it's like it's basically like a comforter, but it's like it has a zipper down the side and you put stuff inside of it? There's actually stuff inside. Is that what it is? I think it is. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, that helps. That helps than just having like a stack of blankets. Yeah, we have. I don't know. We call them comforters or something. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing. And introduction of foreign foods. Yeah, I grew up in West Virginia. We didn't have anything, or at least I didn't. I wasn't exposed to it. I mean, when they opened Chi-Chi's, which is a chain Mexican restaurant, and it's just Americanized to the hilt. It's Mexican, and I'm putting air quotes up. Food. Americanized, you know what I mean? That was wildly exotic. I mean, that felt like we were like going way out. I mean, that was crazy that we were being so. People thought that they were being, worldly and experiencing something that was bizarre, strange. But anyway, I never ate Chinese food until I moved to North Carolina. And barely. I mean, I had nothing. I had no experience with any of that stuff. So I know what you mean. Pizza, yeah. I remember when I was a kid, pizza. I mean, that was something that was newish, And people thought that was exotic too. Isn't that bizarre? Isn't that bizarre? Pizza. I mean, people just eat that shit for breakfast now. It's like you just eat it all the time. It's just like integrated. I remember when I was in England, we were at the grocery store, Sainsbury's, I think, and there was an American food section, and it was stuff like pizza, tacos, stuff like this. It's like none of that spaghetti. I don't know. I don't remember. But it was like none of that's really, I don't know. None of it's American. Pizza is Italian. Tacos are Mexican. You know what I mean? They had it all lumped in the quote American section. Thought that was hilarious. But anyway, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Let's see, the TV thing where I know exactly what you're talking about. When it shows people driving, well, this is stuff you see on TV but never happens in real life. When people are driving on TV and the driver is like turning to the person in the passenger side, carrying on an extended conversation, not looking at the road. Like it causes me anxiety. I'm like, what? Keep your eye on the road. You're gonna run over somebody. You're gonna run over a baby. A baby trying to get back to Tallahassee. You're gonna kill. Keep your eye on the road, asshole. I mean, it's like they turn away for way too long. I know exactly what you're talking about because I notice it too, and it causes me anxiety, even though I know they're not even in a car. It's not really a car. It's not moving down the street, you know? But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Florida driving, yeah. Well, you know, those highways, those wild highways, it's like speed metal. That's funny. Yeah, I know. When I go to Philly, it's nerve-wracking. And when I go, I don't know, you know, when you drive into Washington, D.C. or, you know, that kind of stuff, it's just, I'm not really, I mean, I can do it, but it's not something I find to be enjoyable or, it's kind of like nerve-wracking, you know. Not really a big fan of it. I drove every day in Atlanta, which is about as wild as it gets. But that was a long time ago, and I'm past that. I'm taking it Mike's way now. Screw that, you know. I'm not really, I'm not interested in that. I mean, I don't go to Philly because of that, you know. I try to steer clear of that place. Plus, that place is just, I don't want to get off on that, but, you know, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's insane. In Atlanta, they have that, what is it? Is it 285 goes around there? It's a perimeter. It goes around the city. It's a bypass. You get up on that thing. Everybody's going a different speed. It's like real wide. It's got shitloads of lanes. Everybody's going a different speed. Nobody's staying in their lane. Everybody's switching lanes all the time. You know, there's always some guy over in the left, all the way over in the left lane, which should be the fastest lane, right? That's the way it works, right? There's always some guy over there going like, you know, 50, going 50 over there. He's like, he's got his seat leaning way back, you know, going like 55 miles an hour. Everybody else is going 80. Yeah. That's nerve-wracking. I understand what you're saying. Speed metal. Not a fan anymore. Never really was a fan, but, I mean, it didn't even bother me. I didn't even think about it when I was living in it. But now that I don't live in it, no thank you. I'll stick with it. I'll stick with what I know. Thanks for calling, Ian. And thanks, Erica. Thank you for calling. Call back anytime. It goes for both of you. The number, 570-290-8151. And anybody, all of you can call in. It's not just for these two. It's an open invitation for all of you. Give me a call around the clock. Tell me about your, can you beat the rock polishing field trip? How about the fish hatchery? You got anything on that? Field trips. Give me a call. It could be about that or anything else. 570-290-8151. And if you want 2 episodes of this here podcast a weekish, you can do that too by heading over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation. You'll get a bonus episode every time there's one to the main network like this one. A few days later, there's a bonus, full-length bonus episode that can only be tapped by patrons. That's folks who've gone over to Patreon and signed up for a $4 monthly donation or more. So if you want to be a part of that elite crew, do it today. Patreon.com/Jeff K. SurfReportPod.com is the web home of the podcast. Check that out as well. And my monthly column, humor, supposed to be humor. Apparently that's not evident, but it's supposed to be a humor column about aging. You can check that out too at nonewjeffs.substack.com. And we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side. Hope you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye. But if it comes with mayonnaise, I'm going Mike's way.